Let me tell you something most people will never hear in their entire lives. The universe does not respond to the man who waits. It responds to the man who moves as if the outcome is already his. Read that again. Moves as if. Acting as if things will work out isn't arrogance. It's not fantasy. It's faith in motion. Because the greatest power you will ever have is not in your current reality. It's in your ability to believe beyond what you can see. Now, I'm not talking about blind hope, I'm talking about bold certainty. The kind that built empires before bricks were ever laid. The kind that whispered to Edison in the darkness of 1,000 failed attempts. Keep going. The light is already yours. You want to know why most people never become who they were meant to be? Because they wait for permission. They wait for proof. They wait for signs. But greatness doesn't wait. Greatness decides that the mountain will move, and it moves, and it moves. It decides that the money will come, and it comes. It decides that the right people, the right ideas, the right timing will all find their way to the one who already knows he is worthy. This is not about pretending, it's about projecting. It's about stepping into the version of yourself that's already done the work, already won the battle, already claimed the crown, even if the world hasn't seen it yet. You must train your nervous system to feel success before it happens, to feel wealth in your bones while your pockets are still empty, to speak victory into rooms that still call you a nobody, because what you feel, what you embody, what you move like, you attract. And most people, they wait to feel confident after they succeed, but you must learn to radiate certainty while you're still in the fire. That's the difference. That's what separates the obsessed from the average. And obsession, when aimed with clarity, is the most powerful force on earth. You don't get what you want. You get what you expect. And expectation is built from repetition, from vision, from walking into the battlefield of life with your chest up, your mind calm, and your spirit convinced that no matter how it looks right now, this ends in your favor. Now pause. Breathe that in. How would you walk into a room if you knew the opportunity you dreamed of was already yours? How would you speak if you knew the world was waiting to crown you the moment you stepped into a role? That's how you need to walk today. That's how you need to speak today. That's how you need to wake up, dress up, and show up today. Not when the results come, not when the world agrees, but now. Because the man who acts as if it's already working out becomes the man it works out for. The truth is every outcome begins in the mind. Every million earned, every dream realized, every legacy built, all of it was first constructed in the unseen realm of belief. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. But what he was really saying is, your mind is the architect of your reality. And you better be damn careful what you're building with it. If you walk around carrying doubt, carrying fear, carrying the weight of your past failures, you are constructing a future that mirrors your insecurity. But if you carry belief, if you carry faith like armor, if you walk with the certainty of a man who already knows the end of the story, then the world bends to you. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. See, most people live backwards. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for evidence. They wait to feel ready. But the few who rise, the elite, the untouchable, the unshakable, they act before they feel it. They move before the applause. They invest before the return. Because they know something the crowd doesn't, reality always catches up to mindset. You must train your mind to move as if success is inevitable, not optional, not negotiable, inevitable. And when you move like that, when your energy becomes magnetic, when your presence demands respect without saying a word, when your habits, your decisions, your posture screams, I am the one, then doors open, calls come, people listen. And the same world that once doubted you now calls you genius. This is why belief is not just some fluffy, feel-good idea. Belief is a tactic, a weapon, a tool so powerful it can change your entire life without changing your surroundings, just by changing you. But here's the paradox. You have to believe it before it looks real. Before the bank account, before the spotlight, before the recognition, before the breakthrough, you have to move like the future version of yourself is already watching. Because he is, and he's waiting for you to catch up. He's already walking in power, already living in abundance, already speaking with clarity and acting with boldness. And he's wondering when you're going to stop playing small, when you'll stop rehearsing failure and start commanding success. That future version of you isn't far away. He's just waiting for one thing, your decision. Not a wish, not a hope, not a prayer whispered into the night, but a decision to live in alignment with the outcome you crave, a decision to no longer question if it's possible, but to ask when it becomes real, a decision to show up every day, even when it's hard, like it's already done, because it is. When you believe, when you act as if, when you move in faith, the world shifts, the universe, God, the field, the frequency, whatever you want to call it, it responds. And not to the man who waits, but to the one who walks as if it's already his. And when you begin walking like that, when your energy says, I am chosen, when your movement says, I am ready, when your actions scream, I already have it, that's when momentum explodes. Understand this. You're not just chasing results, you're building identity, and your identity must evolve before your life does. You don't become rich, then start thinking like a wealthy man. You start thinking like a wealthy man. And then the wealth comes to meet the one who's already made room for it. So the question isn't, what do I need to do to succeed? The question is, who do I need to become to make success inevitable? Become him now. Think like him. Walk like him. Decide like him. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards embodiment. People can sense it. They may not be able to name it, but they feel it. They feel when someone walks into a room already full, already certain, already convinced that life is bending for them, and not the other way around. That kind of power can't be faked. It has to be built. And it gets built through repetition, through courage, through risk, and through daily discipline. Discipline to visualize the outcome even when you're surrounded by chaos. Discipline to speak victory when your voice is shaky. Discipline to say, I will, even when the world says you can't. Because every great achiever in history lived this way. Walt Disney acted as if the park already existed long before it was funded. Carnegie thought in billions while still laying steel rails. Napoleon Hill himself stood before kings, presidents, and Mughals, not because he had power, but because he embodied it before they could deny him. That is your path, not to wait, not to wish, but to decide. To declare to yourself and to life, it's already working out for me. I'm not chasing, I'm claiming. I'm not hoping, I'm becoming. And when you walk with that level of conviction, life begins to rise to meet you. Not because you begged for it, but because you believed you deserved it. This is your real power, to believe in a reality no one else can see, to move in that belief until it becomes truth, to act as if you've already crossed the finish line, even while you're still bleeding on the track. Because when you walk by faith, when you lead with belief, when you learn to act as if things always work out for you, they begin to, not by accident, not by magic, but by the law of your own mind, by the law of vibration, expectation, and effort, by the undeniable power of a man who knows who he is becoming and refuses to be shaken by what he currently sees. Absolutely. Let's deepen the narrative and extend the script with even more emotional, philosophical, and practical weight without concluding yet. I'll continue the flow seamlessly, expanding the inner fire and layering more Napoleon Hill-inspired insight, keeping the intensity and rhythm alive. You see, everything you want, the wealth, the peace, the influence, the recognitions, it all hinges on one internal decision. Will I behave like it's already mine? Or will I continue to negotiate with fear? You must understand, the world does not give you what you beg for. It gives you what you boldly embody. Every man who ever built something extraordinary started by doing one radical thing. He behaved like the outcome was inevitable, even when the evidence said otherwise. And that behavior rewired his body, his voice, his posture, his decision. Because when you act as if the future is certain, you make decisions that reflect strength, not desperation. Desperate people chase. Powerful people position. They don't grasp for opportunity, they prepare for it. There's a difference between chasing money and moving like a magnet for wealth. There's a difference between begging for love and becoming the kind of person that draws it in effortlessly. There's a difference between dreaming and dwelling in the reality of your dream before it's visible to anyone else. Napoleon Hill said, "A faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches, but faith doesn't look like waiting in silence. Faith moves. Faith prepares the table. Faith shows up early. Faith speaks boldly, even with trembling hands." So I ask you now, what would shift in your life if you started showing up as if you already had the thing you desire most? What would happen if you woke up every day and made decisions from abundance instead of anxiety, from certainty instead of confusion? You'd stop asking questions like, what if I fail? And start asking, what would I do today if I already knew I couldn't? And that's the question that changes everything. Because the man who believes he can't fail doesn't hesitate. He doesn't dilute his energy with doubt. He doesn't seek permission to be powerful. He doesn't overthink, overanalyze, or apologize for dreaming too big. He simply moves. And the world, confused at first, skeptical at second, and inspired at last, follows. That's the shift. That's the advantage. That's the difference between the person who talks about success and the person who becomes it. One is performing, the other is embodying, and embodiment is magnetic. You want to know why opportunities feel so rare for most people? Because most people never build the capacity to receive them. They say they want success, but their body is programmed for survival. They say they want love, but their identity is shaped by rejection. They say they want peace, but their actions are born in chaos. So life, in its wisdom, withholds the thing until the man becomes ready. And readiness is not something you wait for. It's something you build. You build readiness by walking as if, by dressing like the CEO before the money arrives, by speaking with clarity before the audience comes, by working like you're being watched, even when no one sees you yet. Because someone is watching. The future version of you is watching. God is watching. The universe is watching to see if you pass the test of belief. Do you really believe what you say you do? Then prove it. Not in words, not in hype, but in the discipline of your action. In the way you hold your head high while others doubt. In the way you protect your time like it's already worth $1,000 a minute. In the way you train your mind daily to expect miracles, even in the middle of hell. Because here's the truth most won't tell you. Life is not waiting for the perfect time to bless you. It's waiting for the moment you act like it's already begun. Most people are stuck in a cycle of hesitation. They overthink, they second guess, they wait for certainty before they move. But certainty never comes to those who wait. It comes to those who walk toward the unknown anyway. The man who becomes unstoppable is not the one who feels sure. It's the one who moves with intention even while the fear is screaming. Because your fear is not a warning, it's a compass. It's pointing toward the place where growth lives, the place where destiny is hiding behind risk. And every step you take toward that edge, that's you stepping into alignment with your power. Look at every great figure who changed the world. Lincoln, Tesla, Mandela, Roosevelt, Jobs. None of them waited for validation. None of them asked the world for a guarantee. They stepped forward as if they already knew the victory was theirs. And by doing so, they made it true. That's the key. You don't wait to see it, you become it. You don't ask for permission, you move as proof. You don't tiptoe through life, you march like it's already finished. That's what the world responds to. Not your need, not your excuses, not your wounds. It responds to your vibration. And your vibration changes the moment you begin carrying yourself like a winner before the win arrives. And let's be clear, this isn't about faking it. This isn't about pretending. It's about choosing the higher identity and stepping into it again and again until reality has no choice but to bend to your decision. Because everything is energy, and energy doesn't lie. You can't say you believe in success and then sabotage your morning with laziness. You can't say you want peace and then invite chaos with your habits. You can't say you want greatness and then move like you're still waiting for someone to come save you. That's not belief. That's delusion. Real belief transforms behavior. It restructures your life. It makes you cut things off. It makes you walk away from anything that doesn't match the energy of your future. Because once you know where you're going, once you believe for real, you start acting different. You stop chasing distractions. You start demanding more from yourself. You start protecting your environment like your future depends on it. Because it does. You stop needing people to believe in you. You stop explaining your vision to people who can't see. And you stop apologizing for wanting more. Because now you're living by a different code. The code of inevitability. The moment you adopt that mindset, it's already mine. I just haven't arrived yet. You put yourself in alignment. And in that space, something strange begins to happen. You start to feel peace in the middle of the chaos. You start to feel full before you even receive. You start attracting opportunities that match the frequency of your confidence. And soon, the people who used to doubt you, they don't even recognize you anymore. Because you're no longer operating from the old you. You're no longer hoping for the future. You're inhabiting it. It, right now. So ask yourself now, brutally, honestly, without flinching, are you moving like it's already working out for you? Or are you shrinking under the weight of fear and calling it realism? Because realism without vision is just fear in disguise. And fear? Fear will convince you to settle for crumbs in a world full of kingdoms. But you weren't built for crumbs. You weren't designed for average. You weren't put on this earth to coast your way to a quiet death. You were built to lead, to build, to create something that echoes through generations. But to do that, you have to kill the version of you that keeps playing small. You have to bury the voice that whispers, "Oh, what if it doesn't work?" and replace it with a voice that roars, "It already is." That voice is your weapon, your shield, your compass. When you stop speaking from lack and start speaking from overflow, everything begins to align. Because the truth is the universe listens to certainty. It mirrors back the strongest signal you give off. So if your signal is confusion, you get more chaos. If your signal is fear, you get more struggle. But if your signal is faith, bold, unshakable, embodied faith, then mountains move, doors fly open, and even your enemies are forced to watch you rise. You don't have to shout about your success. Your energy will speak it before your words do. You don't have to explain your vision. Your work ethic will clarify everything. You don't have to defend your belief. Your results will make it undeniable. But none of that happens unless you commit fully, completely, without compromise to living in the reality you've already seen in your mind. You must act like the blessing is on its way. You must move like the resources are already wired to your account. You must train like the opportunity is waiting for you behind the next sunrise. Because that is what separates those who dream from those who deliver. Anyone can talk. Anyone can post. Anyone can wish. But it takes a rare kind of person to become. To wake up before dawn and put belief into motion. To silence the noise of doubt with disciplined execution. To walk alone if necessary because greatness often travels without an audience. This is the season where you stop waiting to be chosen and you choose yourself. Where you stop looking around for signs and you become the sign. Where you stop begging life to be kind and you start commanding it to respect you. Not with arrogance, but with absolute alignment. Because when you walk like you're already free, when you think like you're already whole, when you speak like you're already blessed, the world has no choice but to reflect it back. And that is the law. That is the key. That is the legacy of every man who refused to quit and every woman who refused to settle. They walked as if, until as if became as. So from this moment forward, walk like the outcome is already certain. Speak like the victory has already been written in your name. Move like the universe is rearranging itself in your favor, because it is. Not because of luck, but because you decided to stop doubting, stop shrinking, stop asking for permission, and instead chose to step fully into the identity of the person who no longer begs life to get better, but commands it with disciplined action, bulletproof belief, and relentless faith. Because when you act as if things always work out for you, your energy shifts, your habits sharpen, your focus narrows, your circle changes, your standards rise, and suddenly the world that once ignored you begins to pay attention, not because you asked for it, but because you became undeniable, unstoppable, unforgettable, and that's the truth every giant has always known. The future doesn't belong to the most talented, or the most gifted, or the most lucky. It belongs to the one who acts like they already own it, who carries themselves like destinies chasing them, who keeps showing up with fire in their eyes and purpose in their steps, long before anyone claps, long before it makes sense, long before it's visible, because in their mind, in their spirit, in their vision, it was always real, and now finally the world catches